All right. What is going on, everybody on YouTube? Griffin here. Just wanted to come back with another video and live stream for you guys that will be tuning in live. Just wanted to make sure that our stream is up and going, of course, before just hopping into today's live stream. Thought it'd be a good topic just to talk about, specifically for those of you, of course, that are, you've already probably started your business. You may be starting to finally, kind of hit some of the walls that maybe I have been hitting over probably the last year, maybe even year and a half. Hard to say how far back, but at least the last year and a half. And just giving some insight, as always, from my own personal experience. And again, if you guys don't know who I am, because I know we constantly get new people tuning into the channel, literally every day now, it seems. My name is Griffin Thomas, of course. I own the company that you should see right here, Preferred Pest Management in the Dallas, Texas area. And on this channel, we talk about just everything, business, entrepreneurship related, not just pest control or anything like that, but just, anything surrounding, starting a business, growing your business. And a lot of you guys happen to, of course, want to start a pest control business just like I did back in 2020. And I just document my overall journey in general. We have, something like 700 videos that you can search through. We also have links in my LinkTree if you'd rather, get in contact with me. You can join our Discord group, Facebook group. Those are free. Some people prefer one-on-ones and things of that nature. There's a link as well for that in my LinkTree as well for those that feel that they need like specific, one-on-one consultations. Not that I, want, or how do I phrase this? Not that I want to do that, like it, something I'd love to do, but I'm very busy, of course, so, that's why we only limit those, I believe, to 30 minutes to an hour. So don't think that, like, I don't want to talk to y'all or anything. That's why we do these live streams more than anything. But, it's not something that I think you really need, I guess. I put all the information out here. It's just a matter of sometimes people are busy like me, of course, and instead of going through the, tens of hundreds of videos, they'd rather just answer, have a answer for their question, right there on the spot. So, with that, we'll just kind of hop right in. Like I said, I want to make sure that our stream is up and doing all right. It says we have excellent connection. Hopefully that is the case. And like you've seen from the title of the video, I'm just going to be talking about, as a lot of you all know, we officially crossed 3+ years in business at the beginning of this month. And I was off for the holiday, of course. Happy belated Thanksgiving to everybody. I'm doing a video right now. Sorry about that. We've been in business now for, like I said, 3+ years. It's hard to believe sometimes that I've already been in business that long. It feels like, a year at the most, but have been in business over 3 years now, and just wanted to hop on here. Like I said, I had a few days off for the holiday. I was off, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like 4 days, 4.5 days, because I didn't work much on Wednesday either. I did work, but I didn't work a lot, and just had a lot of time to kind of, reflect a little bit on, what am I mostly struggling with right now. And not just right now, but like I said at the beginning of the stream, the last at least year, maybe even year and a half at the minimum, and things that I want you guys to know is completely normal, just because, when I've been, not just when I was, but when I've been going through each different, scenario, situation, whatever word you want to throw in there, I always was like, man, like, no one told me this shit was going to happen. No one told me I was going to have to do this. No one told me that, this sucks. No one told me, this and that and the other. You always hear just the good, right? The money, you can make 6 figures on your own, 7 figures, this, that, and the other. But no one really talks about, like, the steps in terms of, once you get to X amount of customers, you're going to run up against this issue. Once you get to a level, you're going to have this issue more so in your head. You're going to battle against yourself a lot of days. And that's just, like I said, what we're going to talk about a little bit today. And of course, if you guys have any questions, I always keep the chat pulled up. So if you have any questions about anything, it doesn't have to be related to today's subject or anything, but if you have, I'm sure you all may have questions about that as well. But if you have questions or anything whatsoever, as always, just shout it out there in the chat. But like I said, some of those things are, and I'm trying to go like from as far back, that I can at least remember from like the early days up until today. So whenever, first getting started, one of the main issues that I dealt with more than anything was a scarcity mindset, I guess. I don't know if that really makes sense, but I'll try to explain it best I can. So when I say scarcity mindset, what I'm kind of referring to is customers, of course, customers, money, things of that nature, and just thinking that, I'm competing against literally everybody, which don't get me wrong. Like, of course, you have competitors. That's why we literally track all these things like you see here in terms of where do we rank for every little square mile in search areas and things of that nature to see where we're at versus competitors and all that. But, I was getting very caught up early on and just like, man, why is nobody picking me? Like, no one's picking me. They're picking these companies that I know I'm better than, blah, 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 blah. And, it's not good, of course, for, your mental, first and foremost, just because you're constantly kind of stressing out about your competitor. And when you're not, all that energy and time and effort that you're like focusing on, the why, trying to figure out that why factor of, why is my competitor doing better at X than me and this and that and the other, that is time, energy, stress that you could be shifting towards just focusing on making you the business owner or you the business in general, because we all start out as solo operators for the most part, of course, like focusing on making you better, making, who knows, like it takes self-reflection, self-awareness in terms of, we all know what we struggle at in terms of running the business. It could be, that you think your sales skills aren't the best. So what do? Instead of focusing on, stuff you can't control with, your competitors and things of that nature, you focus on developing those sales skills. Or maybe it's you don't like making follow-up phone calls. You feel like you're not good at follow-up. Well, maybe you need to sit down and just shell out, 10, 50, however many, list of potential customers that you've had or past customers that you've had. Maybe you need to just sit through for a couple hours and just, repetition. Just my whole point is very early on, and even today, I still get caught up in it occasionally, especially when I'm checking out all these, where we at versus X and this and that. It's easy to get caught up in focusing too much on your competitors because of that scarcity mindset. We all want to get all of the customers, of course, but not every customer is, one, the right customer for you and your company, but two, you may not be the right company for that customer, and that's okay. There is a market for all of us out here at the end of the day, regardless of how big, how small, how cheap, how expensive. You know what your ideal customer is. And as long as you focus on growing your skills and growing, your company in terms of growing it the right way, documenting everything, having all the right, like trainings and things of that nature in place for like future employees. Like, don't be, now again, if you're someone that wants to just be a solo operator your entirety of your business, that's fine. It's just less steps for you. You're just focusing on continuing to develop yourself, of course. But a lot of you guys are probably like me. Yeah, you're probably going to start out solo, but you do want to grow into, maybe a 5 or 10 or who knows, 100+ employees, depending on, your ambitions, of course. And either way, the moment you hire that first employee, you need to be on top of it in terms of keeping the employee trained, and not trained from the sense of like a lot of us think about training like Terminex or Orkin, where they train you like a robot or, like a monkey essentially to just everybody does the same thing, but train them in terms of, making sure they have the most updated information, making sure that they're motivated, making sure that, they share the same mission as you, the owner. Now, of course, employees are going to have their own external motivations. Most of them, a lot of them, let's be real, are just needing a paycheck to survive. But there's a lot that we can do to make them, know what the mission is and get behind that mission. That's a subject for a different day once I even get, further down the road and, hiring employees. But my whole point is, just focus on what you can control. Don't think in so much of a terms of a scarcity mindset, because at the end of the day, the world population is just going to keep going up. Home ownership is going to keep going up. We believe, at least, right? Businesses develop in different areas, every single day. I can tell you from just personal experience. See all this green land out here, and then just to give you guys for just basic stuff, basic knowledge and just some background, all this stuff that was white was green. Like when I first moved here to the Dallas, Texas area, a lot of this in this little town, Fate and Royce City, a lot of this stuff didn't exist. Now, a lot of this, like right off of Interstate 30 did, because of course, these are little interstate towns, of course. But look at all this stuff that's developing. Big neighborhood. You go up here a little ways, neighborhood starting. Look, there's more white starting to pop up. And if you don't know, the white pretty much means, areas with structures, of course, right? The green is going to be mostly rural, lots of trees, lots of fields, things of that nature. And the white is, stuff that's developing. There might be airports in there as well. Usually they're kind of colored in gray, but, getting off on a little tangent here, but my whole point is, there's no reason to think in terms of a scarcity mindset, just because, at the end of the day, as long as you take care of business and, like we always talk about, every day you have a chance to either win the day, lose the day. And as long as you win, and you just keep stacking up wins, and sure, you may take a L here and there. You may win, L, win, L, win, L. Like, as long as you just continue to stack up, think of it like a little stock market, graph, right? As long as you see that, hey, we're continuing to just go up over time, then you know that you're on that right track ultimately. So that's one of the first things that, I really came to grips with. It's kind of I would say like foundational in terms of, wanting to get off on a right foot, because if you don't adjust that mindset from a scarcity mindset to more of an abundance mindset, then you're going to be constantly making rash and quick decisions. And I want to be careful using the word quick, like quick decisions, because of course you need to be able to make quick decisions, but don't make quick, irrational decisions that could ultimately set you back, get you customers that you don't even want. Prime example, you think that, man, like we're not really selling a lot. People are turning us down for pricing. What do? You knock your pricing down. Sure, that may be a temporary solution, but a lot of times you're going to notice, this leads me kind of into the next part of, things that I was struggling with early on in owning my pest control business, was the getting involved in what a lot of people refer to as the race to the bottom. And what is the race to the bottom? Well, it is exactly what it sounds like. Everybody in this industry lately seems to be kind of just seeing who can get it done for the cheapest and, get that customer. And you do not want to get caught up in that. Now, there is a time and a place to adjust your pricing, when we're in a kind of a bad economic time like we definitely seem to be in right now. I've noticed the last few months specifically, really even the last year, but I would say the last few months specifically, I've really noticed, a lot of economic pressure in my area even, which has been a booming area overall in terms of people just not, you could pretty much just name your price And they'll be like, the main thing is, how soon can you get out here? If you can get out here today, tomorrow, we'll do it. Otherwise, we're just going to call the next company. Where now people are definitely pricing around a lot more now than ever. But my whole point with the whole race to the bottom is, you don't want to get caught up in that. First and foremost, focus on, again, your processes. What is going on from the moment we answer that phone to the moment that customer has notified us that they went with someone else? Like, you should, and some of you, including yours truly right here, a lot of us get caught up, just in the day-to-day. We're out running stops, or our technicians are out running stops, and we're doing other stuff, going to networking events, things of that nature. We just get busy, right? We have our own, family and, just life outside of work, of course, as well. And we kind of forget about the follow-up process. And, we just kind of figure, oh, that customer or potential customer, that lead didn't fall through. I guess they went with someone else. Like, we just assume, because again, we get so caught up in that day to day. Next thing we know, we got a list of 10, 20, 50, who knows, depending on your call volume, maybe even 100 plus potential customers that are sitting in lead status that you haven't even followed up with. And all it takes is a simple text, a call, maybe even an email. I suggest text for the most part. Call if they don't answer the text. I could do a whole video on our follow-up process, but you should get to the point where for a fact, either they went with another company or they're going with us, or occasionally, maybe 10, 20% of the time, they're kind of sitting on it, right? They're kind of, in that stage where they need to make a decision, but they don't want to make the decision, if that makes sense. I'm sure we've all been there as buyers of any product or service, right? We're kind of in that phase where we know we need it, but we're kind of like, let's see how long I can go, without it. And there's a whole different follow-up process for that as well, of course. But, like I said, the whole point with that is making sure that, of course, just you're making that time, no matter if it's twice a week, 3 times a week, once a day, whatever your schedule allows for, have that time set in place where, if nothing else, like I said, you can do something as simple as copy and paste that same message and just boom, 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 fire out those follow-ups, change the names. Of course, hopefully you have that lead's name and, personalize it, butter them up. You want to get to where for a fact that, oh, yeah, no, I just forgot about you. Let's go ahead and do this. I can't tell you how many times I've had people that I followed up with that I just, let slip through the cracks, and, I followed up with them 3 to 4 weeks later. Don't suggest doing this because, obviously the longer you take to follow up, the less likely you are to close the sale. But how many times I've had them fall through the cracks, and then I just simply follow up with them. Hey, I know it's been a few weeks since we spoke. I'm just wondering, are you still having that issue, blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh, yeah, no, actually I am. I was just thinking about you, blah, blah, blah. And, boom, you get a close out of it. So, I don't even know where that point began. What were we even talking about? Oh, just sales process and whatnot, sales process and the race to the bottom. So what I'm getting at is, don't be so quick to say, hey, we're not getting sales, we must need to drop price. Instead, look at the whole picture. What is going on? Like I was saying a few minutes ago, what is going on from the moment we are answering that phone to the moment that customer tells us they are not going with us. From that point on, you can kind of formulate, okay, what's being said here, what's being said there, what are they not liking here? This is where call recording and text messaging, things like that, can really help you, because you can start to find out, is it pricing? Is it that just every single, 80, 90% or whatever percent, it may be a large percentage, saying that it is pricing? Because at that point, maybe it is pricing. It's hard to say. I'm not going to say that pricing is never the thing to adjust, but it shouldn't be the first thing you adjust. It should be one of the very last things most of the time that you should address. So that is the next thing that, I got caught up in. And, we could go on for probably another 15, 30 minutes at the minimum about, when is it right to, adjust your pricing, how often should you run sales? Should you even run sales? There's a lot that goes into that side of it, but again, at the end of the day, just do not get caught up in that race to the bottom. I cannot stress that enough to you guys. And like I said, hopefully the stream is doing okay for you guys. See, we got about half a dozen of you in here right now. Hopefully you all are enjoying the stream as well, by the way. If you are, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. And like I said, don't be shy about, if you have any questions about the subject, or, maybe you just have a different question about a struggle you may be having and wondering if I had it as well. Or it could be something totally different. Feel free to shout it out there. Like I said, I'm just going off the top of my head in terms of things that, I have struggled with and I'm still in some cases struggling with today as a pest control business owner, 3 years in business. And you're probably wondering by the thumbnail, you're probably thinking, are you looking at selling your business? So, yes and no. So hold on, don't freak out. I'm not selling anytime soon, anything like that, more than likely. That's one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about this last couple of months specifically is, how to plan that exit. What multiplier should I be looking for? Are there things that I can do better for my business to make it, more sellable, if that makes sense? That is why since day one we have digitalized, try to say that word 3 times in a row. We've made everything, digital in terms of invoicing, contracts, inbound leads, call tracking, text, just everything is digital in terms of being able to trace every single, both potential client to current client to even past clients. Like we have everything, because at the minimum, even if you have nothing but just numbers and emails and addresses and, the more information, the better, of course, but every little piece of information you have about someone, because of course, assuming you're doing everything right, they had to sign something that, or check it off if it's on a website, that they are okay with you marketing to them and all of that, legal jargon. Even if you just have a customer list, say for some crazy reason you have no active customers, nothing to sell. If nothing else, your customer list is going to be worth some money. So always keep that in mind. How's it going, Freddie? Happy holiday. Yeah, happy holidays, man. Hope you had a great turkey day with the fam. Yeah, no, man, it went by quick, just like everything does every year, it seems. Like I was saying a little bit ago, it took a few days to just kind of decompress. Wasn't really on Discord or, the YouTube or Facebook or, anything in terms of, just keeping track of like anything in terms of the YouTube content, even my business stuff. I've just been kind of, that 3 to 4 days, I just kind of stepped away for a little bit. So it was nice for sure. How's it going, Levi? Thanks for the great videos. Yeah. No problem. I'm curious what your sales were like the first 6 months. Did you market the first 6 months? So technically, yes, Levi, I did market the first 6 months through Google Local Services, Google Local Service ads specifically. What that is, of course, I'm assuming you probably know what that is, but we'll just kind of show you an example. So say someone types in pest control near me. Of course, at the top, you're going to have, your Google. None of this is really going to show up for people. Of course, this is for like your business stuff. The Google guarantee, that is what I'm referring to. So you want to, of course, be in the top 2, top 3 in this. And this is where we were just making a killing early on. We had a very, very high closing rate. Again, this is back in 2020, early 2021. I would say up until about June or July of 21, we were really hitting this hard. The price was cheap. You were talking $15 to $30 per lead. Now, unfortunately, it's like $65 to $100 per lead, depending. I mean, it literally varies day to day. So we don't really do it a lot now, but Yeah, that was our main way for, gosh, first year essentially in business. Did a little bit of, of course, some little small Google ads, Facebook ads, nothing really super successful or anything like that. And then, of course, somewhere around 1 year or so in business, we started really focusing on, our Google Map Pack ranking in terms of, you want to be in that top two, top three, top four at the absolute, bottom because, just give you guys an idea about that. And I'll get to your part about, our income on that as well, or our sales that first 6 months. But let's see. Google business profile ranking. Let's see. How do I want to phrase that? How does my Google business profile ranking affect calls, I guess? There's an article somewhere about this. Actually, let's see. How's my Google business profile ranking affect calls? What ranking does my Google business profile need to be to get calls? Because someone had it broken down amazingly in terms of percentages. Let's see. Trying to find it for you guys. I may have to find it some other time. Let's see. How do I get the call option? Where's the ranking? That doesn't matter. How does ranking work? No, that ain't it either. How many leads does my Google business drive? Let's see. That's a good number of chats too. Let's see. Come on. So this is somebody probably trying to sell the service, of course. Man, I'm gonna have to find that for you guys and like post a picture of it on the YouTube channel, Discord, all of that. But pretty much the reason that we track this so closely is it was like the number one ranked business, in a given area. So, any given dot, the number one business is going to get, something ridiculous, like 90+% of calls in terms of, for every 10 people calling, you can expect 9 to 10 calls, right? The number two business, it drops a good little amount. I think it's something like 88%, maybe even a little less. It was in the 80s, if I recall. The number three business, it drops clear down to like 2/3, something like 66%. Like it was pretty much right at 2/3, if I recall. And then once you drop to number four, it drops like to 7%. So you can see how it just drops off. And it makes sense, right? Because, when you type in again, pest control near me, and you take a look, what does Google show you? They show you 3 businesses, right? So, you want to be in that top 3, obviously, to get the calls. So that's what we really have focused on a lot over, the last 1 to 2 years now. And as you can see, it's slowly but surely over time paying off. We've had some fluctuations the last week for a little bit now. That's actually one thing that I was going to bring up tonight, actually, or not competitor reports, dang it. I noticed I ran a scan late last night, and, our stuff, let's see. So we had like very little fluctuation. This was the 21st. Pretty much nothing really changed. Like that's common, when you don't have a lot of reviews coming in, things of that nature. Don't really move a lot. And then, that's rodent control. So I'm going to have to do this. Here we go. Trend report. Sorry about that. I was confused. All right, let's take a look. We'll go to average rank. So you can see, we had a little bit of fluctuation, and and if you didn't see my stream from, gosh, when was this? The 7th? So about, 3 weeks ago, we had this huge drop from, we had a spike and then we had a huge drop. And I was thinking there had to have been some algo update. There ended up being an issue on our end where we added a category that should not have been added. So we got rid of that and almost immediately just started recovering. We surpassed pretty much our prior average, but then we had a drop. We started going up again. And then I noticed, 1 or 2 nights ago, we had a drop again. We dropped from, like we said, a little bit of movement, nothing crazy, right around 5 to 6 for our position, clear down to like 7, which is a lot for your average ranking movement. And then today, I just checked it here a little bit ago, and we're back up to about 5.5. So what that is telling me is based on the time that I ran these. This was 10:30 at night when our business was marked as closed. The Google Business profile is now factoring in terms of rankings. This is just my conclusion based on what I've noticed, based on the times that we run these reports. They are now factoring in when a business is open or not for the ranking. That's my conclusion. Now I'm going to keep track of it. I'll keep you guys updated on that. We're getting off on a little bit of a different subject here, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on for sure. That is recent. That has not been a thing for a while. When your business is open has not really determined anything for a while. So that is something that I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on. And then as for the 6 months, let me see, what were your sales like? So the first month didn't really get a whole lot. Got like $1,000 or less. I think did a video or may have even answered this in a previous stream. I forget off the top of my head, but like the first month, I really only had like 2 to 3 weeks because I started at the beginning of November of 2020. And then of course you have Thanksgiving holiday, no calls were coming in that whole week actually. So we really only had like 2 weeks in there, but that first month we did like less than $1,000 or maybe like right at 1,000. And then December was decent. If I recall, it was somewhere between, $1,200 to $2,200. January, again, another step forward. I think it was something like 2,000 to 3,000. And again, this is all like without door knocking, without, I really wasn't doing a whole lot. Everything, I mean, I was, but it was all, internet based. I was doing everything online, focusing on the Google local service ads, getting that up and running, figuring out Google ads, figuring out Facebook ads. And like I said, wasn't even running a whole heck of a lot. I ran a little Facebook ad, I think like 10 or $20 a day. Nothing even really worth running looking back on it. But I did get one of my very first customers ever from Google Ads. So I'm not going to say it was totally worthless or anything, but I think some of it was striking gold too, to be honest. But yeah, first few months that was just the first 3. Let me see. February, if I recall, was really slow because I think that was when we had that really bad freeze down here, where we had like ice and snow and power outage and this and that. If I recall, February was only like 2,000 or 3,000 as well. But then March, March we took off. I think March, if I recall, was like our first $10,000 month. April was somewhere around like 12 or 13,000 as well. It was great. It just boom, that was when Google Local Services was peak for us. I mean, we were getting 50 to 70 calls a month just from Google Local Service ads. So that was when that was working, really good for us, of course. Freddie says, if you have the right business plan and the right team, you can definitely grow and sell after about 10 to 15 years in the game. Pest companies are selling for around 4x the revenue nowadays. Yeah, and a lot of it depends too on, like you said, what all do you have in place? That's what I've been really focusing on a lot as of late, is making sure that we have everything in place that will make it as easy and smooth as possible. Like I said, not that I'm looking at selling tomorrow, next year, anything crazy like that. Like you said, probably within the next, if I do even decide to sell, probably within the next 10 to 20 years. I'm still very, very young from a business sense. I'm 26, I'll be 27 next year. So, I mean, even if I were to be in the business, for say 20 years, I'll still be less than 50 years old. Barely, but I'll still be under 50 years old. So it's like, that's what I keep reminding myself. I think in terms of, half a decade to a decade. I'm even starting to realize how short half a decade is just because I've now lived in Texas for, 5 to 6 years already. And it feels like I just moved here maybe 2 years ago. Like, I can definitely tell I've been down here for a while, but it doesn't feel like I've already been, over half a decade since we moved down here. It's just crazy once you have kids, how time starts to fly. And having kids along with growing a business and just, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that, the days just fly. Like, I feel like I just woke up this morning and I've already been awake for 12 plus hours now, or pretty much right at 12 hours as a matter of fact. So, it's crazy. Like, it's just crazy how much time will fly. And that's another thing, speaking of this whole, string topic of just things that I struggle with, and have struggled with, time management. Like, I will not lie. Anyone that says they have time management just completely figured out is, I'm not going to say full of shit, because some people will have their time management to a T. I think it's much easier for those that probably don't have kids, maybe empty nesters or single or whatever the case may be. They may just not have kids. Not to use kids as an excuse or anything, but let's just be real. When you have a family and kids, like, either you have this fallacy called work-life balance and you're not growing your business as quick as you would like, or you're going to be making some sacrifices, and you have to live with those sacrifices ultimately. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Some of it too is on me, as well. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't waste time. I waste a lot of time, and my wife does a good job of pointing it out to me. But yeah, I mean, that's one of those things that I've been constantly, especially now that I've gotten busier, and even, doing like YouTube and stuff like that, I have to make sure to carve out time to do these streams, do videos, do podcasts, all that stuff. It doesn't really take as much time as some people think. A lot of it is just making sure you have like your microphone and everything just all set up and ready to go, make it go smoother and quicker. But it's still time, right, at the end of the day. And, you have to make a decision on, like I said, how you're going to structure your day. That is one thing that I found works best, is if I remember, which I'm horrible about remembering to do this, but if I go into Google Calendar, either on my phone or my laptop, and we'll just kind of schedule my day. Now, when you do this, don't be so OCD where, if one little thing gets messed up or whatever, then the whole day is just fucked. Like, it's not that serious, right? But whenever you at least plug those things into your schedule, it's a lot easier, at least from my experience, to make sure that tasks get done. Almost like a, list. Some people have their own versions. They may just use a pen and notepad and, just say, I need to get this done, your critical task and things of that nature. Me personally, I find it easier to use the Google Calendar, because there's things that pop up every day, of course, that, can just throw you off track. And if you don't have some kind of calendar list, whatever the case may be, next thing you know, you forget 2, 3, 4 tasks, or forget to pay credit card bills, or whatever the case may be, and you're just like, fuck, I forgot to do this, I forgot to do that. Prime example, I got to pay my business license registration by the 30th. It's on my calendar for today to get it done. So, had I not had it there, chances are I would have forgot about it, and who knows, if I would have got it done by the 30th or not. So, time management is a very, very, very important thing. And like I said, when I say time management, don't think I'm saying work-life balance. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I don't really believe in work-life balance from the standpoint of, you can have work-life balance and own a business. That has actually been kind of my issue when I say that I've had a time management issue, is I've had a little bit too much of a work-life balance I would say at least the last year, roughly, and I need to kind of start tightening down on that. For me, it starts with, going back to my disciplines in terms of getting to the gym, waking up early. Anytime I wake up early and either go to the gym in the morning, or even if I wait and go to the gym in the evening, the whole point is as long as I wake up early. And when I say early, I'm not saying like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., anything crazy like that. I'm talking 5 to 6 a.m. And, if I don't go to the gym, then maybe I'm hopping in, the ice bath, or right now, since it's cold as shit outside, even just jump in my pool that's 35, 45 degrees. But just doing stuff that like I don't want to do first thing in the morning. So, we're getting in that mindset of just discipline. I know when I do that type of stuff, things go a lot smoother. I stick to, my list a lot easier because I'm getting a jump on the day where, if I'm feeling lazy and I sleep in till 7 or even 8 or dare I say 9 in the morning, it gets just to where I'm just kind of chasing the day. And I'm sure you guys know how what I'm saying if you, are in your own business or, able to make your own schedule. It's very easy to wake up, hit that alarm clock, especially in the winter when it's colder and you're under those nice warm sheets and you're just like, oh man, I don't got too long of a day today. I don't need to get up. No. Like it's the moment you feel that it's like, fuck, gotta get up, gotta do something to wake me up and just get it going, right? And that, like I said, that's a daily struggle for me. I'm somebody, I'm not gonna lie, I love sleep. I love being in my nice warm bed. I mean, I got a comfy bed. I'd be lying to y'all if I said if there's no days that I sleep in. But yeah, no, it's one of them things. Let's see, make sure I didn't miss anything here. Young man, God bless you. Yeah, God bless you too. Definitely stick with it. Nothing better than working hard and enjoying a cold one. Yeah. No, man, I tell you what, this past weekend, I made some, speaking of like just cold ones, alcohol, I made some holiday punch. That shit was scary because it didn't taste like alcohol at all. It only took like 2 of them to kind of feel a little something. And like I said, it was nice to have a few days to just kind of unwind a little bit. My main thing with quote unquote taking a few days to unwind though is, and y'all tell me if y'all feel this too, every time I come back from the unwind, be it a vacation, be it holidays, whatever the case may be, I don't want to do shit that first day. Like I'm just like, I'm almost like a little Eeyore. I'm like, I guess I'll get up and go to work. Like I'm just like, man. But yeah. Let's see, how's it going, Kevin? Hire tech and get out of the field. Yeah. No, that is probably the first hire that's going to be made. I mean, of course, I already kind of hired somebody first. When was this? Back in June, July. Only lasted about a month, but yeah, we were doing that, and now I'm kind of in a sticky situation in terms of exclusion because my guy who's been doing our exclusion work for pretty much ever, last 2 to 3 years, is moving, it sounds like, to Florida at the beginning of the year. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just have my brother do it because he has, the knowledge of that as well. Found out that I'm going to be an uncle and that he's having his first kid. Him and his wife are having their first kid, and they are talking about moving back to Missouri now. So I'm like, great. Like, I'm going to be stranded. I'm going to have to, like you said, hire somebody to do that. Either that or keep on doing it myself. And that is the thing when it comes to growing the business. And that's a big part of why we will not be in this house this time next year. Actually, May of next year is because, we're going to take a deep cut. We're going to sacrifice for a little bit so, we can hire somebody and, get off of, just me being out in the field. Which brings up a great point. And that was one thing I was thinking about. We keep talking about just things that, I've learned and like struggled with since starting and now owning and operating this business is keeping spending in check. Personal spending, that is. Business spending, I don't seem to have an issue with business spending. Like I'm very frugal, and I'm still frugal in personal life as well. Like we don't have like luxurious cars. I mean, we have a 2020 Chrysler minivan and my two trucks, which are work trucks, of course, a 2015 Chevy Colorado and a 2020 or 2021 Nissan, just SV, not SL, nothing, like I said, nothing fancy or luxurious. A Nissan SV Frontier. I almost forgot the name of the damn truck. Frontier. Those are vehicles. Like, we don't have nothing fancy over top. But where we messed up, and I think I brought this up a couple times. Damn, Coca-Cola is making me burp. This house is one thing that I look back on every single day, and I'm like, this was a mistake. And then, like I said, it's not a mistake in terms of like, oh my God, we're gonna go out of business, we're gonna lose we're in like we are not in a bad spot or anything, but I added it up. It's costing us an extra, roughly, depending on the time of the year, with the electric bill for AC and things of that nature, it's costing us an average of an extra $1,500 to $2,000 per month to live in this home versus if we either A, stayed in the previous home that we were in, or B, went ahead and just said F it and bought a little house that would have done. So yeah, we're more than likely going to be buying a house, assuming that everything, works out and checks out and, we buy a house. But we'll be buying a smaller home, way smaller than what we're in right now versus renting, which will be nice, first and foremost, owning instead of renting. But also, like I said, we're going to be downsizing. This home is about 3,000 square feet, 2-story home with a pool, where we're looking at homes that are about 1,400, 1,800 square feet. 3 bedrooms instead of 5, no pool. We're talking roughly $275,000 to $300,000 home versus this home's worth over, I don't even know what it's worth now, like 600 plus. Last I looked, 1,000. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be, and that's just tip of the iceberg in terms of cutting back on personal expenses. And it's nothing long term or anything. Like I was talking to my wife and everybody else about it. I was like, it's just a sacrifice. Just like when we talk about work-life balance. Either you're going to have work-life balance and you're going to grow your business at an average to, sub-average rate. Maybe even not grow it at all, just stay stagnant. Or you can make sacrifices instead of watching TV, playing video games. May have to sacrifice some family time even, depending on how hard you want to go at it. You can do all those things, or you can focus on growing business. Same thing with money. You can either focus on nice lifestyle, doing all this BS, going out to eat, partying it up, taking vacations, all that BS, or you can cut back for a few years, grow the business, and just slowly, level up. Which we did great at our first year and a half in business. I'd say even first 2 years in business. But this last year we got little dumb in terms of, just like I said, we felt like we absolutely had to move into a bigger home because of our little one that we just had back in May, which was when we moved, of course. But we didn't. We didn't need to. And I was talking to my wife about it. If I'm saving that much money on our housing, instead of me having an office in the house like I have right here, I could literally rent an office in a better location, which, is obviously going to result in more calls because, when we take a look, by the way, they now have this AI analysis on Local Falcon. Pretty badass. I took a look at it a while back. It's not perfect, but like all AI, it's not perfect, but it's pretty badass. But just to give you guys an idea, I mean, just like look at all this water. Like this could all be homes if I was, a little bit further off to the west. So that's kind of what we're looking at. We're looking at, we're probably going to move, somewhere further, just to either the north or northeast, maybe even further up north towards McKinney, Texas. But I'll rent an actual office space somewhere, either in Plano, Richardson, like I said, somewhere further west where it's going to help the business big time. So, yeah, that's the decision I have conclusion that I've came to with like our lifestyle and the business and things of that nature. Because, yeah, I mean, like I said, this business location, it's not bad, but it's not, like, I would say there's bad, okay, good, better, best. And I would definitely say it's not in the better or best category. I would say it may be in the good category at the best, like best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we could be further out east where it's still, developing a lot of farmland and stuff still. But there's definitely better and best out there that don't have a giant freaking lake that's just swallowing up any opportunity for calls. I mean, look at all this green right here. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. I mean, imagine if there were neighborhoods all through here. And by the way, if you're wondering, just kind of wondering, this stretch from right here to here is about 3 miles. This stretch from here to here is like dead on 2 miles. So you're talking 2 to 3 miles across in terms of lake. And then not to mention, I don't know how much in terms of miles this is. This would be, let's see, 1 mile, 2, 3, 4, at least about 4 to 6 miles of lake north to south as well. So that's a lot of potential land where we could be I would estimate that just this alone is probably costing us, bare minimum 10 calls a month. And that's probably underestimating. So, yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to make for a great 2024, 2025 and beyond once we, get the location moved, get that all optimized as well, and then just continue to optimize it in terms of, convert some of this red and yellow and orange to just more and more green. The green is slowly but surely spreading. We're somewhere in here, and we got green all the way out here. That's about a 6 to 6.5 mile radius of green in that direction. So it's coming with time. It's just, continuing to put in the work. And, you see out here we got a 7 mile radius, because this is a 7 mile radius grid right here. And we have some green right here, all the way 7 miles out. So it's definitely coming along. It's just keep on doing it, get a better location, cut back on expenses, and for God's sakes, finding a way for us to answer that damn phone. If we got to drop everything, literally, outside of the baby, of course, drop everything to make sure that we answer the phone versus having to follow up. Because if you're having to follow up, you're all versus answering right then and there, you're already in a hole. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I would say that, that I'm quote unquote struggling or have struggled with in these 3 years that could help you guys out, along your journey that you're going to be going through. I think I brought it up earlier, but the mindset is a lot, making sure that just knowing going in that you're going to have days and even weeks, maybe even months in some cases, where you're just kind of out of it. You're just kind of going through the motions. That's totally normal. Now, should you just be okay with it? No, definitely try to how do I even say it? Like, try to get momentum and keep your momentum, obviously, in a positive direction as long as possible. And the moment you start to catch that, hey, we're kind of slumping right now, and by we, I mean like you in your mind specifically, when you start to notice that you're dropping off, you're not as motivated, this and that and the other, do whatever you need to do to recapture that momentum or recreate that momentum, because momentum is created. It's not a skill, it's not something that you can, I guess it is a skill in terms of the ability to create momentum. Like, that is a skill. And just like discipline is a skill. It's not something that you're just born with. It's something you have to develop and learn to keep pushing in terms of, developing and keeping that skill, making that skill better, because the quicker that you can recapture momentum and build on the momentum, you're unstoppable. I mean, that saying, I'd run through a brick wall for X, when that is momentum based in terms of, like I said, for me, like I was mentioning I think I did mention this actually, because we were talking about it a little bit ago, how, for me, it's going back to waking up early, getting a workout in, jumping in some cold water, things like that. That is how I gain momentum to start the day. And as long as you have to think about every day in terms of momentum, from the moment you wake up, you decide if it's going to be a positive momentum day or a negative momentum day. With momentum, there is no neutral. It's either going to be positive or or negative. So just know that every day you wake up to the moment you go to bed, you need to be at least gauging, where are we at on the momentum scale in terms of 1 to 10? Do I feel like and do not say 4, 5, or 6. Like, you need to be thinking, like, am I at a 9 or 10 on momentum, or am I at like a 1 to 2 on momentum? Because if you're at that 1 to 2, you're already in a better place because you've at least acknowledged that, like, hey, we're not doing good in momentum right now. We need to do something to regain some momentum. I don't know what it is. You should know what it is. And if not, figure out what it is. Like I said, do something small. I mean, it could be something simple as just, I'm going to wake up 30 minutes earlier tomorrow and I'm going to jump in some cold water, or whatever, it is. Usually you want it to be something that you don't want to do, but that is something that's not going to take up a lot of time. It could be going for a 10 to 15 minute jog around your neighborhood. I mean, it's up to you, obviously. Everybody's lists are going to be different. Everybody's disciplines are going to be different. Some people would prefer to jump in water, like how I do whenever I'm, trying to really capture some momentum. Some people it's, going on a jog. Some people it's, I don't know. There's so many things that you could do, chopping wood. I mean, I don't know. It's on you to figure out what is going to help you get your momentum. But, yeah, momentum is very, very important. Freddie says, I must have missed it. What is Local Falcon? So Local Falcon is just a tool. It's similar to Bright Local, just a little bit cheaper and better, in my opinion. All it does is it tracks your Google Business Profile rankings for certain keywords and search terms. Like we did pest control service for Google. It says Google Maps because like what we're talking about is the Google Map Pack, which, like we said, if you type in, say, pest control near me, for example, of course you have your Google guaranteed, the Google local service ads, but then right below that, oops, did not mean to do that. After that, you have these listings right here. These are free listings, your Google Business Profile listing. And, of course, there's always a sponsor one up there because Google's doing anything and everything to make $1 nowadays. But, you want to be in this top 3. Ideally, the top 2 to top 1, the overall number 1 spot. But you need to be top 3 at the minimum if you want to get calls. So what Local Falcon does is it helps us gauge and see, okay, where are we at in a given 5-mile radius, 7-mile radius, 10-mile radius. You could do, like this tells me right here, it covers 196 square miles. And then the cool thing is you can even look at, okay, where are my competitors at? So to do that, I forgot how to do that. View competitor report. So it'll show you a list of, okay, you can literally click on them. Say this Campbell Pest Control, for example. We can click on them and see how they rank versus how we rank. I can take a look at this one if I want to. How do they rank versus how do we rank? There's a company on here that I was somewhat worried about for a minute because they were a newer company that was like flying up the rankings. I don't know what happened all of a sudden, but they seem to have like disappeared. Yeah, they're way down here now. But, check how they're ranked. And they're like right down the road from me, by the way. Versus how we rank. This one's actually my buddy's company right here that I mention from time to time. How do they rank versus how do we rank? And again, when you see like his, for example, it was showing mostly up here. His true business location is like right here. So, of course, he's going to rank very well up here and probably even up here as well. Where I'm going to, of course, rank more down here. But I like looking at it in terms of companies that are close to me. Like this guy, he's like right here. How much bigger of a radius in terms of top 5, 4 on up can I get versus what are my competitors getting? There's another company on here that is pretty close to me. They've been in business for a long, long, long time in Saxe. Look how little of a range that they have. They only have like a 2-mile radius where they're practically showing up at all, and then they just drop off immediately. Where, us, we're practically number 1, number 2 for about a 2 to 3 mile radius, depending on which, or maybe even more, about a 5-mile radius, depending on, which direction you go. And then we're practically in the top 10, I would say, for about that entire 7-mile radius. We still have some 20 pluses in there, slowly but sure. And again, it's a more populated area in terms of businesses, so it makes sense that it's a little tougher. Plus, you're getting further and further away from your location. The further you go out, it's just natural for you to not rank that well. The fact that we're even close to breaking the top 10 out here in Garland, pretty surprising, to be honest. But it takes a lot longer. The main thing that I like to use it for is just to check on, are our rankings continuing to go up and up and up? And is our reach, going out further and further and further? How do we do that? Everything that we talk about on this channel. We can click on our business profile page, take a look. We have, of course, 100 plus reviews. We try to get reviews every single day possible. Not to say that we do or anything. But, we have I need to schedule more posts. I forgot about that. Good reminder. I need to put that on my calendar. But we're posting practically every single day using keywords such as, the towns and the services and things like that. Pest control Garland, Texas, pest control Rockwall, Rockwall rodent removal, just doing anything and everything possible that Google wants for us, uploading photos. That's become a big thing recently. We just got a video posted on there as well, which is very hard to do. It has to be like 10 seconds or less, I noticed. But just doing everything that we need to do to, hey, they finally gave us our 3+ year badge. Doing everything that we can do to just please Google, of course, because just take a look. Look at all these companies. Let's just type in. Let's not even type in near me. Let's just type in pest control. By the way, there's way more companies than this. These are just the ones that are showing up right here. I mean, look at just all these different companies. And again, these are just ones that have pins because we're using Google Maps. This doesn't include all the service area businesses that don't show their address. This is just showing all of it. Now, with Local Falcon, I don't want to confuse people. When we're looking at it from this standpoint on Google Maps, you're only seeing the pins. On the competitor reports, you're seeing every single type of business. Because, like I said, my buddy's business, for example, he does not technically show his address. He uses like a one of those office spaces that like you can rent out or whatever. What do they call them? Like a Oh my gosh, we've talked about it on this channel a couple times. I'm just having a total brain fart right now. Wow. You all know what I'm talking about. Like one of those offices where you're not actually in the office. It shows right here, but he's not actually using it for a pin. He's using it to be able to use the Google service area business. And that is why, he's showing up the most in like Wiley, Texas, because he's identifying that like, hey, we service the Wiley, Texas area, if that makes sense. So like I said, it's different from what you're going to see just on Google Maps itself, if that makes sense. And my target in terms of where I want to service, or not service, but as well as where I want to rent an office from, my target is somewhere right along here. Somewhere right along this area. I don't want to get too far south, though. Like, I would prefer to stay north of, what is it, Beltline, I believe? Yeah, Beltline Road is what I want to stay north of. And you can see as we started to zoom in, more and more businesses were popping up, too. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of businesses in this area. So, like a P.O. box. Yeah, it's like a P.O. box, but you can't use a P.O. box, unfortunately, for your address. I forget the name. Virtual office. That's what it is. Man, I knew it was going to come to me eventually. Virtual offices. You have to be very, very careful. I did a lot of research for, a week probably. Talked to a few of them. Most of them only want you to show your business as a service area business. They don't want you to, use the address as a physical location where you get one of these pins, and that's a deal breaker for me. That's why, that's part of the decision for us as to why we are going to be downsizing, and it's going to save us probably thousands of dollars next year come May when we move, because we're going to put that money into a good office location, which will obviously pay for itself probably multiple times over. And even if we do find a good virtual office where we can use the physical location, it's still better just for us to cut back on the expenses so we can invest more into advertising, if nothing else. So, yeah, that's the main thing that I can suggest everybody do is once you get to that 6-figure plus, you're getting to 100, 200, 300 plus $1,000 in sales. Do not start adjusting your lifestyle. To me, you should not start adjusting your lifestyle. And again, this may be presumptuous on my part because I'm not even there. I like to talk mostly about things that I've already done, my personal experiences more than anything. But in my opinion, it's best to not really adjust your lifestyle too much. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't take a vacation, don't upgrade a car, whatever the case may be. If you're driving around a beater and, you're doing $200,000-300,000 a year in sales, probably upgrade your car. Like, it's not going to be a big deal, right? But in terms of just doing like what we did, going from a $1,800, $2,000 a month home into a $3,300 a month home, don't be doing stupid shit like that until, you're probably doing 7 figures in sales, realistically. Again, just my opinion. If you really want to grow as much as you can possibly grow, try to keep your lifestyle as humble and low cost as possible. Again, just from my experience. But yeah, no. Hopefully you guys have been, like I said, enjoying tonight's stream. If you did, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. Feel free to share it with anybody. I don't, pump ads out or anything for the YouTube channel or anything. So the only way that people find this content is either through people sharing it or, finding it through the search algo, YouTube search. I don't even know. Hopefully everything's doing all right. I see we're up to like 4 likes. If you haven't already liked, like I said, do me a favor, smash that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe down below, hit the bell icon, all that good stuff, so you won't miss any of our future live streams or video uploads. If you have any questions after this live stream goes from a live to an actual, video after the fact, you can shout it out in the comments below. I check those comments pretty frequently. I know I have some comments from over the weekend while I was away that I need to get to. Either I'll get to them, I'll probably respond to them, but we'll probably even talk about them in the next stream. Let's see, it's Monday. We may be able to do a stream sometime this week again. If not, maybe this weekend, possibly. I'll keep you guys updated in Discord, in our Facebook group, all that stuff, which, like I said, if you're not in those, there's a link that says like my LinkTree in the description box of all of our videos and live streams. You can click that and it'll take you straight over to our free groups. We have over 100 members now on our Facebook group, and we have like 300 plus members, something like that, 300 plus members in Discord as well. And like I said, if you do, for whatever reason, feel like you need some one-on-one time with me, you have some other questions or things like that you just want to get answered ASAP, you can fill out a form or something like that in our LinkTree as well. It'll say like one-on-one or something like that with me. But I appreciate you all tuning in as always. Like I said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all in the next one. Appreciate it.